Hello, my beautiful creative friends. How are you today? I am so excited to be here. I don't know if it's you have the same habits that I do, but sometimes, and just say sometimes, I buy a product and I just don't use it. And that's something that I wanted to talk about today because I decided, so 2 years ago, a bit less than 2 years ago, like my birthday, I think 2022. So my birthday is in July. So almost 2 years ago, I saw this product that I really wanted. I wanted to buy it so badly, and I'll show you what it is in a second. And I drove almost an hour away from where I live to buy it because there was one art store that had it. And I was just like, I don't know what obsessed me to buy this product because I mean, I didn't really need it and it wasn't a cheap product, but I just wanted it so badly. I don't know what it was. I think it just because I thought I could do so many things with it. And then it's been sitting in my shelf for quite a long time. We're 2024, almost July, so almost 2 years. And I felt really, no, I don't want to say guilty or something like that for spending money on it, but I'm like, why am I not enjoying a product that I already have? So I decided to take it out and experiment. And I wanted to show you how I usually approach a new product. So it is technically new, but not really. It's not a new product in the market. It's just a new product for me. And just kind of show you like what kind of things I do to experiment, especially mixed media wise, because it's really important to experiment with the products so you can kind of get a feel for how it works. Now, you probably don't have this product. It's a very rare product that's why I think I wanted it because it was rare. But I encourage you if you're going to be like if you're going to be creating at the same time as me, just get a product you haven't used in a while or haven't used ever and you bought or somebody gave you and somebody gave it to you, or maybe a product that you're afraid to use and you just want to kind of play with it and experiment just to see how it goes. So, because that's basically what I'm going to do today, and I'm going to show you what the product is and and what kind of things I discovered with it. I did play with it a little bit just to, um, not be surprised on the first time I use it, but most of it, like I was quite happy and besides that, I realized why I actually wanted it to begin with. So let me change my camera and let's get started on showing it to you. So if you look at this, I posted this on Instagram and somebody thought they looked like erasers, kneadable erasers, and they do look like that, but they're actually not. They're called Terrages, Terrages. I don't know. It might be a French word or something like that. I don't um, actually know how to pronounce it, but it's like Terra and GS or whatever. Yeah. And they're actually pastels, dry pastels, not oil pastels. Okay. They're handmade and hand rolled, hence the way they look. And they're very highly pigmented. They're powdered pastels. Okay. You know, the ones that are like powdery. Now, other things that I think are similar that you could use are things like pan pastels. If you want to do similar techniques to what I'm doing today, you could bring water soluble crayons. That would work as well. Nothing oily that resists. I want things that can actually like kind of blend with water. And I'm going to show you again how I approach this. Now, these are not very cheap, but they do last a long time. And I did put the link for anybody who is obsessed with products like me and would want to buy them, but honestly, you don't need to buy them. It's just more for the fun of it. Basically, as I said, they're pastels. And I'm not an expert in pastels. I don't do like paintings or drawings. So for me, I wanted to incorporate them in mixed media. And that's basically how I approach everything. And because they were not cheap, as I said, I picked my favorite colors, these two being my favorite, but I also love the coral color. So I picked colors that spoke to me. And that's important to do when you're picking colors. If let's say there is a product that you want and you don't know which colors to choose, always pick like something that you actually love, a color that you love. Okay. So one of the things that I love the properties that I loved about these, besides them being powdery, they kind of feel like chalk pastels, chalk. It actually feels like chalk when you touch it. It actually comes onto your fingers. So in that sense. But one of the things I love is that you can use them as dry. You know, they kind of feel like chalk. So I'm just going to make some lines just to show you. And this is basically the first thing I do when I'm actually creating is I just experiment and test different mediums with it to see what happens. So I'm going to grab a paintbrush. This paintbrush is wet. And why I love these so much, these Terrages, is because they dilute with water. They basically are water soluble. And if you blend them, they can blend with water, okay? Kind of like watercolor. And I thought that was brilliant. So not only you can use them dry, you can also use them wet. And they're very highly pigmented. As you can see, I barely used any color. Like I just made a few markings and it melted. It blended, I meant to say. I'm using watercolor paper for this one. It's 140 pounds, but I think I've tested it on Bristol smooth paper and that works as well. So as you can see, like, you know, they blend really nicely together and they can also be applied dry. So the usage of both of them for me was that I could use them both dry, like to make markings on a page, but I could also use to cover a larger area and kind of make them into watercolor. And I can just go down, add more water, and, you know, dilute them even more. And even use them for watercolors. Similarly, as I said, if you want to bring something like water-soluble crayons, then that's an option as well. Another way you can use them is actually like wet the background. So first, I'm wetting the background with a little bit of spray, and then just have them inside, you know, and they kind of spread and create, and with the same idea, okay? So what I like about them is that even though I did not prep the paper, okay, I didn't add any gesso or anything to it, you don't get so much of a marking. You just blend it in and the markings go away. When you use water-soluble crayons, the markings kind of stay. So I do like the fact that in these cases, they don't, okay? So here's the simplest way that I just experimented with. And I really like the results, as you can see. And I thought, well, you know, this is really good. Let's see what else we can do. So I'm going to put this aside, and let's experiment with something else. And one of the things I wanted to do, this is really cool too. And let's take a different color just so I can show you the different colors that I have. So I really like this coral color. And again, well, I'm just going to do lines just because it's easier to show you the difference, okay? And let's do a little bit of yellow here. So the reason why I am showing you this, how to approach a new product, one of the main reasons is because I feel a lot of people, like, besides buying, they get a little bit scared of experimenting, even though I think they're scared of making mistakes, they're scared of wasting the product, they're scared of, like, you know, they will not come out the way that it's supposed to and so forth. So I encourage people to do this. And that is why, like, I've been talking about already for a few weeks about my new mixed media class, where I'm going to be teaching 10 techniques. These are going to be simple techniques with products, easy techniques with products that are just available to everyone, like watercolors, gesso, gel medium, and so forth. So it's a very inexpensive class that you can just learn so much, and we'll be creating a lot of backgrounds that you can basically incorporate for any type of project that you do, whether you do cards, art journaling, canvases. The techniques are basically the same, and I'm going to show you the different things. So the link is there in the description. If you want to join this class, it's only $12, so I don't think it's expensive, and it's going to be a live class just like this. And right after the class, there's going to be a Zoom. We're going to do like a fun Zoom where we get to know each other, because I really want to get feedback on how people like the class. And
it's going to be a very good class. You can follow through on each step, and then afterwards, once you finish the class, you can watch it as many times as you want. So if you missed a technique, or if you didn't finish one of the techniques because you didn't have the time, or because something didn't dry in time, that's not a problem. You can go back and watch it. So that's a great way to do. So yes, Carolyn, I saw. So great. So for if you haven't signed up, and if you want to, I think Elaine, if you can put the link, it is in the description, but if you can put the link, that would be great. So here we have, again, going back to this, it's I put a little bit of the pastel, and I'm gonna grab a little bit of gesso. Actually, I'm gonna get a different brush, okay? So I'm gonna use white gesso, and this will work with clear gesso. This will work with any type of gesso. I mean, obviously not black. Black will just completely cover it. But gesso, even it will work with gel. It will work as well. So that's also something you can do. There it is, Elaine. Yeah, so there's perfect. So Elaine is always so gracious, even though she lives in Australia and it's 5:30 in the morning, she joins, and she's joining the class, even though it's going to be like in the middle of the night for her. Now notice how, like the gesso, what it does is that it creates paint. How cool is that? So this is another way that I can use it if I really want to. And what it's nice about it is that it maintains the color. The colors are so highly pigmented that it actually maintains the color. Let me put a little bit more water in here, just a little bit, so I can mix the gesso. Oops, I just dirtied everything. And now, if you want it to be like exact color of what the pigment is, you can go ahead and use clear gesso, and then the color will not change, like it will not blend with the white, okay? So now I just realized, so it's interesting because I put, I guess, more of the coral color than the yellow, and I can see that it blended more. So let me just put a little bit more of the gesso. And I guess the more white gesso I add, the lighter the color it will be. So I am going to, for the third experiment, I'm actually going to experiment with gel medium, because I want to see, gel medium will act similarly, because it's clear, it will act similar to clear gesso. It doesn't have the same properties, but it's the same in terms of the clarity of it. So that will work. So this is nice. Like, I actually really like this, made it really nice and like pastel colors. So I get more of a pastel feel. Okay, so let's try now with something that is more clear, because this is not as clear. Oh, hi, Darlene. Darlene, I think, also signed up for it. So I'm really excited, everybody who's coming. I get to meet you all after, if you join the Zoom. So let me get a third paper here and show you. I'm going to show you a really neat technique that I am going to do after. I'm going to put it all together after in a little art journal, just to kind of show you. Okay, hold on a second. This is the third one. And let's see, what colors do I want to try? Let's try this like really nice brown, burgundy brown, I don't know. And what's so nice about it is that depending on how you hold it, you can get thin lines, thick lines, you can make circles. Okay, so, oh, this is really pretty. And okay, so now let's try something like gel medium. So I wonder if I should take, I'm sure it will also work with modeling paste. Okay, so, but I'm going to try the fluid gel medium just because I have some here. Why not? Let's try it. This is how I say, like, my motto is why not? I feel like, let's try. If it doesn't work, no, I just lost a piece of paper. Or if you're working in your art journal, then, it just, nothing to lose. Basically, that's what I feel like. Nothing to lose when you're trying out new mediums. It's really good to just try it out. Oh, there we go. So here I am adding it with gel medium. So the difference is, and they'll describe it to you, is that I'm getting a very, even though it's translucent, I'm getting the exact pigmentation. It's not mixing with with the white, okay? So this is a clear medium. And look, you can even make your own color with it. So I could just make my own color. So you can make it more translucent if you want, if you add less pigment or more opaque. This is really nice. Okay, good. So there we go. So now I'm assuming then the same way it will work with modeling paste. You could just actually mix, like you see here, you can mix the color this way and paint. Okay. So there is so many possibilities. I'm really excited because there's just lots of ways to work with it. And I use like so little of it. So I am assuming that these will, even though they're expensive, will probably last me for a long time, especially if I'm using them in a mixed media kind of way. Okay. Now, these are just like some of the experiments that I did. Now we're going to get into something more fun. Let me show you something that I like doing. So I'm just taking a little piece of paper that I have left over. Not sure if you're familiar with my foam stamps. I have lots of different foam stamps from Joggles. I listed them also below. There's different designs, and these basically just stamp. You can use just with ink, regular ink. But I wanted to show you how you can use them with this because it's really cool, okay? So the first thing you need to do is you need to wet the stamp a little bit. So I need to wet it, and I wetting it with a little bit of water. And then I'm going to go over it, and I'm going to kind of paint on top. Okay. Okay, hold on. Now, I have not tried with regular stamps, so I don't know if it works. I know it works with foam stamps. And then I am going to stamp it. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit more water. I didn't fully work it. I think it dried up before I got to the edges. So let me do it again. So there we go. And I'm going to wet it again. Sorry. And the more water, I guess, you use. Oh, there you go. There's something you bought, Elaine. She bought my stamps and never used them. Yeah. That's exactly what I want to encourage everybody to do. And what it does, it gives you like this watercolor effect with the stamps. So that's really, really nice to do. Okay, there we go. I like that. Okay. So now I want to show you how you can put this all together. So whatever I'm doing right now, whether you do cards or art journals or any, excuse me, any canvas, everything works similarly. Like you don't have to like the techniques will work the same way no matter what you use. And you know how much I love art journaling, so I figured I'm going to show you how to do it with an art journal. And one of the things that I love the most is collaging. And I will go into more in depth in my class, is specifically explaining like all the different things that you can collage. But right now, I'm just going to show you one thing that I am doing, and is I'm going to collage one of these papers. These are printables that I have from Etsy. This is one set. It's called a neutral set. And why I like it is because it doesn't have a lot of color. Oh my gosh, my voice is leaving me. Excuse me. So you can collage it into your backgrounds and add little pieces of it onto it. So let's just pick one. I'm trying to think which one I want. I think I'm going to go with this one. It's just very subtle. So if you want to buy this set, like it's on Etsy, it's like $5 or something like that. I think a few of you own it already. I don't know. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to basically rip. Now, I don't promise that you'll be able to see these papers afterwards, but they do add a little bit of a hint of texture in the background sometimes. So I like adding them just in case. And also it's fun for me to glue and to enjoy the gluing process. So
for me, I don't worry. Like I had somebody comment on one of my videos. It's like, why did you glue all these papers if you went and covered them up? Like, what is the point of that? And I thought to myself, you know what, you're right. Like I am covering them. But to tell you the truth, part of what I love about art journaling and collaging specifically is just the process itself. So I don't know what will show after or not. So for me, even though I'm covering the area, it is part of that process that I love so much that I'm willing to take the chance that even if I'm gluing and nothing shows, I'm okay with that. So I just said, okay, I mean, it is what it is. People will question my motives and things, and I'm okay with that. So collaging is something that you can do. So you could take, let's say if you make cards, if you don't do art journals, or if you do canvas, you just treat this as a background. So if you want to make a collage on your cards, that's basically, you can just treat one piece like as if it is a card, okay? Instead of instead of it being uh, a journal. It's really practically the same. All the backgrounds are practically the same. Hi, Louise. Good morning from New Zealand. We have Australians in New Zealand and from everywhere in the world. So exciting. So even a canvas, you glue it the same way. That's basically what I'm trying to say. It doesn't really matter what you use. The background is the background. And then you can just adapt everything to whatever you do. Okay, and I'm going to leave some white space as well, so I'm not going to fully cover everything. But, oh, I want this one. Maybe like I'll put it here. And you can overlap the collage. Overlapping collage papers gives it a really nice texture. So in that sense, it's good. So sorry, I'm just concentrating. And you want to make sure, obviously, that with any paper that you seal everything really well. And I'll explain feeling in my class as well, like really in depth on how to understand what that means. Okay, so I want to put some, I'm just putting this in the middle so I can connect the two pages, but also kind of protect the middle. And just so you know, I don't really have a thought of what I'm doing. Like I'm kind of just collaging for fun without any idea of where it's taking me. And I think this is good. So is it really perfect? It looks like a big, messy way, like a messy thought here, but you know what? That's okay. Hi, TR, how are you? Okay, so just, all right, so there we go. So I'm gonna dry this. Where's my dryer? And a lot of people that have, I think I recognize a lot of the names of people that have joined my class. So again, while I dry, I like talking about the reasons why it might be beneficial for you. Like I want to like make sure that I bring as much value to you in my classes. So that's why I wanted to create a very inexpensive mixed media class, because I know a lot of people kind of hear the word mixed media, not everyone, but a lot of people hear the word mixed media and get very you know, kind of like taken aback by it. So they don't want to feel like, I don't want anybody to feel that they can't handle it. Like I've already had a few messages or emails from people that's saying, well, I don't know if I'll be able to do it. And I said, and I keep on emailing people back saying, don't worry, it's going to be super, super easy and simple to follow. And you're going to see that that anybody can tackle mixed media techniques just by learning them the way it is. So if you do want to join, the link is in the description. Yeah, oh, there it is again. So it's this Saturday, March 23rd at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But if you can't make it live, it is definitely going to be recorded, so you can rewatch all the techniques afterwards, okay? Okay, so now once I have this ready, it's a bit hot, I am going to add a little coat of clear gesso. If you do not have clear gesso, go ahead and add white gesso, just dilute it with a little bit of water, and you can just add it to the background, okay? So you don't have to have white gesso. I just like white gesso, and one of the reasons why I like it is because then you don't cover the part where you added the papers, whatever it is that you glued, it will not be covered. Will not be covered. Will not be, yeah, it will not be covered. Yeah, you will be able to see the design. Does that make sense? Yeah, saying sometimes things. I always feel like, am I being understood? Because I want to make sure that everybody can understand me, so that way I can like explain the techniques much better, to explain them well, not better. Gosh, grammar is not my thing. Again, I'm drying this as well. I'm just gonna blend it a little bit because I want it to dry faster. Okay, so now I'm gonna do this really fun thing that this is my favorite part. Yeah, so Carolyn, if you're using plant-based gesso, I'm assuming it's probably made with baking soda or something like that. No, baking powder, I meant to, no, baking soda. Yeah, I get those two confused. Not a problem. Just dilute it with more water so that you'll get a more translucent effect. Uh, oh, so, oh, yes, no problem, Darlene, of course. Okay. And I do have all the supplies in the description as well, both here and in my thing. So this is called white gesso. This is the what I'm referring when I say white gesso. It literally, that's what it's called. Okay. So um, so you can actually use this to cover things. If I were to recommend for you to buy one of them, you can buy this one. However, if you don't have gesso, just email me or look on my website. It's not my website, my YouTube. I have a recipe how to make your own gesso at home with baking soda. So if you don't have it, no, so see, I'll explain that in a second, Darlene. So this is good for the class. This is why I'll be explaining everything, but it's a good thing that you're asking me here. So no, this is a primer. This is kind of to make your pages very ready for the next step. Okay, so kind of think of like the gesso is like what you put on a wall before you add the paint. This is what gesso. Mod Podge is what I refer to as the gel medium or the matte medium, which is the glue. So Mod Podge and matte medium are glue. Gesso is like the primer that you kind of add on the wall or on the paper to prime everything for color. So for me, I'm going to be adding color next. So I wanted to have my page primed. So that way it kind of protects the background. So I'm not going to get all this paper very wet and kind of like ripping apart, because then all the paper will rip apart. So it's really important when you're working with mixed media, and this is something that I also put in the supplies in the class, is that you work with quite thick paper. So you want it to be at least 140 pounds, or they call it watercolor. In the watercolor world, it's 300 GSM. Okay, so I'll show it to you. So just so you know what I'm talking about. So if you don't have an art journal, it's not a problem. Although I list those as well, but for the class, I am looking, oops, no, that's not the one, sorry. For the class that I'm doing, if you do, we're going to be working mainly in my papers. So this is what I highly recommend. Literally, it's sold at Michael's or online on Amazon. It's watercolor paper, and it's 300 grams or 140 pounds, okay? And the brand is Strathmore. There's other brands. There is Canson also makes it. The most important part is that you want it to be 300 grams or 140 pounds. If you get the 9x12, you can cut them into little pieces, and we're going to be working with little pieces with each technique, okay? So that really helps for that. So when I mentioned the clear gesso, the only difference between the clear gesso and the white gesso is that the clear gesso is basically transparent, while the white gesso, they're still both primers for like kind of like to prime before the color, but they are definitely this one is clear while the other one is white. So if you're to buy just one, buy the white one, because you can dilute it with a lot of water, like even what Keren is using, which is she said plant-based is a misnomer. I don't know what that word means. Sorry about that, but I don't actually know. No plastic components. Yes, but either way, they're different. It will still be able, you'll still be able to dilute it with a lot of water. So, and create like kind of a translucent effect. Okay, so that works as well. What was I going to go? Oh, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh yes, I'm going to go with my next step. But before I say anything, I know that it can be, this is why I don't want it to be overwhelming and with so many things that you need to kind of learn together. But if you can go, Darlene, on my channel, I have actually quite a few basic, like mixed media basic kind of techniques. Maybe I'll add them at the bottom. You know what? I could actually add them at the bottom of the class, like basically what is gesso, what is mixed media, what is modeling paste. Maybe I'll add that so you have it all in one place. I might do that today, later on, or tomorrow morning, and I will just email everyone with that information. So you'll have it all in like one section, so you can actually watch those videos and get more informed about things. So that's a good idea to do. Let me go back to this. So I'm grabbing a few stamps, like besides my own stamps, Joggles and other creators design their own stamps, but I'm going to use mine because why not? And what we're going to do is we're going to do a little fun background where we're going to be stamping things everywhere. Okay. So I'm going to use these like kind of darker colors just because I'm going to use the blues later for something else. So let's pick 3 colors, and it's these ones. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to, as I said, wet this. I'm going to be coloring. We'll see. I think if some of them like just take the color much better. Okay. Now let's see if it works without me having to re-wet it. Oh, there it is. Okay. So I'm just creating texture. That's basically what I'm doing. And I'm just going to do a few of them. I think I added too much water in this case, but it just creates this extra texture on the background. Okay, that's cool. Now this one is the X's and O's. I like this. I wonder if, oh, I can actually also do this and first color it and then just add a spritz of the water. So that works both ways. Okay. It's very powdery, so that's why. Okay. I'm going to spritz it on this side. And just realized some of the powder went onto it. And oh, that did not work as well. Okay, hold on. Maybe I need to wet it a little bit more. There we go. That's better. Okay, so I'm just creating texture now. You're going to see soon why I'm doing this. It's not a random thing. It's one of my favorite techniques to do. It's maybe a little bit more on the advanced side, and I will not be, I don't think I'm going to be doing such because you're creating at the same time as me in the class. I don't think I will be doing complicated techniques. I will be doing more simple techniques, so not to worry. Oh, Debbie, you couldn't comment before? That's not good. Okay. I'm just drying the wetness a little bit, and I'm going to use this color. Maybe I'll clean this first. Okay, 1 second. I do recommend if you're coming to the class, and actually, you know what, I should put that also. Somebody send me a reminder on these things. Baby wipes is important to have a mat underneath, like a dryer. I will add a few notes to the supply list as well.
Okay, so now I preferred wetting it. I think I liked it more when I wet it first instead of adding it dry. And did I use this one or the other one? I can't remember. Oh, okay, actually, I have another color I can use as well. So, oh, this one really gives it a good impression. There we go. Now we're getting some. So I'm just randomly stamping. I know it seems kind of random, but it's really just kind of covering the area because I don't know where I'm going to land. I'm going to show you soon what I mean by that. And I'm going to use the last one. This is a punchinella style kind of design. And I'm going to use this one. It's one of my favorites, the coral color. Okay, let's see. And I think this will be probably the last one. Or this will looks good. Okay. So you can still see the designs underneath, right? So this is why I meant that even though I'm covering a lot of it, you're still going to get parts of it kind of mixing in here. Oh, hi, Jacqueline. I'm seeing more and more people that I think signed up. I'm almost sure. Can't remember. I'm starting to recognize names. Okay, so I'm really liking this. Okay, so this looks like a really big mess, and I know, and that's okay, because now you're going to see what I'm going to do. So let me move all these things away. Now you could do the same thing with, as I said, with water-soluble crayons, okay? Or you could just do the same technique with paint. Acrylic paint, not watercolors, but acrylic paint. You could stamp with my foam, with the foam stamps with acrylic paint, okay? So let me dry. I just want to dry everything really well. One moment. So if you are joining, I think there's quite a few names that I recognize that are joining the class. So I will put it in the thing, but I'm just gonna please bring like a baby wipes or something like paper towel that you can clean your surface. A dryer is important, especially if you want to keep up. It doesn't have to be, it could be like an embossing dryer or even like a hair dryer from your from your bathroom. Like that's fine as well. Just have something that you can dry things in between, so that way you can do all the techniques. Because we're going to be moving from one technique to another. But as I said, if you're joining the mixed media class, and for those of you who might have just joined now, if you're joining the mixed media class, then you will be able to rewatch it at your own pace afterwards. So even if you're not finishing at the click, don't worry about it. You can put it aside and then go to the next one. Okay, so yes, I know. So I do recognize quite a few names. Okay, so now, oops, is it dry? Okay. So I could go right now with the black and make the designs that I want to do, but I want to use something more permanent so that way it doesn't blend with any water that I add afterwards, okay? So I'm going to use a black acrylic marker. That is, it's a Posca marker, I think I'm using, if I can find it, hold on. The black I can only find white, explain to me why. Sorry, somehow I can't find the black one. What did it happen to it? Do I have it on my desk somewhere? Oh gosh, okay. All I find is white. Don't know why. Blue, white. I apologize, I don't even know. Oh, this is the black. Okay, I have two different types of acrylic markers. Okay. Oh no, this is silver. Never mind. That was not even. Okay, so I'll use this one. Oh, there it is. Oh my gosh, I couldn't find it. Okay. So I love acrylic markers because they're permanent after you use them. So what I want to do is I like creating little gardens, I guess, what you call them. Like I got like, I don't know. I love flowers, so that's one of the things that I like doing. So when I put a lot of texture, which this, as I said, looks really messy. Um, if you do cards, like I said, make sure that you like just focus on one side or like make a little card out of it, okay? And then you could do the same design that way. Same with the canvas, okay? So what I want to do is I want to create a garden. I want to catch as many textures as I can by doing like I'm going to make these circle designs. It doesn't only have to be circle, but I'm going to make a circle now. I'm going to be drawing it. And freehanding. If you don't want to freehand, you can definitely use a lid or something to do that, because obviously my circles are definitely not straight, but I don't mind. And okay, there we go. I love making this design. It's one of my favorites, and I'm catching what's in here. Another design you can do is you can make like little trees. I don't know if it's a garden. It could be like trees. You know, my favorite things are trees as well. So, okay, so I'm just freehanding. But again, as you don't want to do this freehand, just you can like kind of cut out a template for it or use something to create it. All right. Next one, I think I want to do like one over here. Maybe, what I don't know, like oops, let's make another one, but maybe a little bit bigger, but to catch some of this texture. So when I mean I catch some of the texture, whatever is going to stay inside the tree, that will be what you will see, and we're going to basically mask and cover the rest. Okay, so that's what you can do. Now you can, as I said, you can do this technique with many different mediums. It doesn't have to be just these ones that I'm using today. So this is going to be a shorter kind of round tree. So I'm creating, it's not actually, it's more like a forest than a garden, or whatever you want to call it. Honestly, it doesn't really matter. If you put like leaves, then it's a garden. Okay, what should we make? We should make one more, maybe one that it's touching this. I like this. Ooh, that's good. They don't all have to be standing alone. This one can be touching. So this would be a really nice card, like especially like fall related card. Not that it has to be fall, but I actually don't like that they're not really touching. Maybe we'll make like another circle here. You can add as many trees as you want. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, that did not turn out so good as a circle. But okay, I like that. Okay, that's nice. Okay, and then one last one here, maybe. So I'm catching a lot of the different designs inside the circles, okay? Now, this can be done with anything. It doesn't have to be texture inside. Let's say you added like a watercolor background and then you just grab like different circles. I've done it so many different ways. It's one of my favorite techniques. I don't know. I really like it. Okay. So now the key to this is that once you got all the texture, we're going to be covering most of it. And this is where some people like get like, I'm like, why'd you do all that? But just, you don't know what textures you're going to get until you actually do it. And it's not a big deal. It's more about the creativity and the process. That's way more important than like, you know, covering things. Don't worry about that. That's not like important. The important part is just enjoying the process. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these colors, these bluish colors, and you're going to see what I like doing with this. So as I said, you can cover large areas with this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this in the background. And this is what I said, that you could easily use paint kind of like acrylic paint with this, okay? Because imagine just covering everything with acrylic paints. That's the same thing, okay? So basically what I'm doing is I am just using these just because I have them. I can use them to cover up the background. So I'm covering it so that way that all you see is what's inside the circles and the, I don't know, leaves or whatever you call them. Now, don't worry if you go over like the black of the circles. You can always like you can always re-outline them or whatever you want to call it. So what I liked about these and why I showed you that I could turn them into paint is that it was really great that I could turn them into paint. I thought that was really good. I was like just impressed with that. But if you don't have them, obviously, because most people will not have these, you can use water soluble markers. You can even use like, you know, dark watercolors or add a lot of pigmented watercolors, magicals, whatever you have at hand. And acrylic paint, I've used it many times with acrylic paint. It works really well with acrylic paint. Okay, so just so you know, this technique, I mean. Now I'm gonna do the next one, kind of creating, maybe these two trees will be together here. So, and I think they're interacting with whatever's underneath, which making them a lot more darker than I wanted them, than what they look like in the before when I showed it to you on the white paper. But that's okay. I think they're interacting. You see they're interacting with the brown. And that's okay. That happens as well. So if you don't want them to interact, let's say you put like something like black or something underneath and you don't want it to interact, then you can definitely kind of use baby paper, like a baby towel. What am I trying to see? A baby wipe and remove. So let's see if we do that now. So if I can remove, you see, I can remove some of it from here, like the leftover. So if I remove it, will the color be darker? Now I have no painting skills as well, Carolyn. That is like something that I don't have. I don't have painting skills. I literally just drew circles, right? So this is why I keep things really simple and don't like, and I just like, it's for me, what's important for me is the creative process. So I keep things really, really simple. Okay, let's see if this works now. And oh yeah, okay, so yeah, so if you want the color to be more vibrant in the color that it's supposed to be, just wipe off some of the excess because obviously it's mixing. Even with any paint, it will mix with it as well, right? So yes, and you're right, Elaine. As like always, it's really important to remember that it's our own creation. So what we're creating is usually comes from our heart and our soul. It comes from our subconscious, and that's something that I'm very passionate about. I am going to, I mean, I haven't announced this yet, but I can talk about it while I'm painting here. I'm very much want to focus as well, besides the mixed media techniques, I want to focus on intuitive art journaling and intuitive painting, not painting so much. I mean, it's not specifically painting. It's like we're doing drawings or anything like that, but things that come from a heart and soul. And I've been training for the past 4 months in a specific program, and I'm actually continuing my kind of education with them. They're called Soul Pages, and I'm officially a facilitator for this technique. And what it does is that it's basically helps us connect with our intuitive self and create things that can help us in our well-being. So not only are we using the mixed media techniques, but we're also going to create something that kind of connects with the subconscious, something with our inner self. And it's actually super easy to do.
We're not like it. The main part of it is not focusing on the art. You're not focusing on the beauty of the art. You're more focusing on what kind of the process and what kind of messages you're kind of not receiving, but kind of like your subconscious wants to let out into the world, and for yourself as well. It's a very, very interesting form of creativity, and I'm going to be offering those classes I don't know when, like I don't want to say a date because I actually don't know it yet. Just working on all the details behind the scenes, but I have sent a couple emails. So if you're in my email list, you can just like get on the wait list for that. I will send emails to those people on that wait list first, with all the information, because it will be like it will be taught in Zoom, and I need to make sure that I can't have like too many people at once in my Zoom, because I need to make sure that I can give everybody the attention that they need. So if it is something that interests you, even if you don't know if you will do it or not, you can just get on the wait list. It's not mandatory to sign up. It's just kind of like gives you a different perspective on things. So anyways, that's my spiel about that. But I am doing a very easy mixed media class on this upcoming Saturday that most of you have already, I think most people that are here have signed up. So it's great. So I'm really excited to get to know you. And then after, when if you join the Zoom, I mean, it's not mandatory to join the Zoom, and the Zoom will not be recorded. So it's kind of more for us to get to know each other. If you have any questions, please bring them, especially questions that are maybe unrelated to what I'm teaching. So yeah, so that would work. Now, sorry, let me now go back and explain. As you can see, while I'm covering things, things are kind of revealing and stuff, and the trees kind of stick out a little bit more, which is really nice. Okay, so I am going in like strips. You can like cover it any way you want. If you want to just cover it all in the same color, you can. Sometimes I like adding like a little bit darker colors at the top and lighter at the bottom, so that we can blend it more. So yeah. And we can blend the colors together. I see that they're still blending. I forgot to remove the dark. So a lot of the stuff that I'm working behind the scenes is to just really bring people, because we're creators and we love to create for ourselves and for our well-being. But what if we could, like, tap into more than that? And it's a really cool process. So I'm really excited about that. Gosh. Okay, that's nice. I like that. Hi, Lynn. Yeah, so I can just go back a little bit on what it is. I'm trying these new products. It's called, well, it's not new to me. It's called Terrages. They're soft pastels, like kind of powdered pastels. And I'm just testing them to see how they work. On my mix with mixed media. It's not something that most people own, but I just wanted to kind of show how I approach a mixed media project. I mean, a mixed media product when I haven't used it in a long time, or I've never used it before, which is the case with this one, because I am also like want to show that how I approach mixed media in general. I have a new class coming up. Is um, I have a mixed media class coming up this upcoming Saturday that you can sign up on my website, and it will be like very easy to do techniques. I mean, that anybody can learn to do. So I was talking about that, and if anybody wants to sign up, they can do that as well. So yeah, so it's just kind of learning. I'm teaching some today, but this will not be taught in the class. I'm going to go into in depth of the different products and techniques, just so that way
people can feel confident to be able to recreate the same techniques afterwards. Okay, so that's a reason why. But I just wanted to be able to, you know, show you how to do this. Show you that it's easy to create text, easy to create mixed media, and mixed media techniques are so easy to tackle, and that anybody can learn it. So thank you, Darlene. Bye. Okay. All right. So, oh, that looks really nice. Okay. So I think I want to fix a little bit of the blue here. Maybe add a little bit more of this blue. It will lighten up things a bit. Okay. So you could use, as I said, anything to mask the around the trees. Acrylic paint would work perfectly as well. Okay. Now I'm going to dry this a little bit because it's too wet for me to actually attempt anything else. Let's see. Graciela is asking if they can get reactivated with water. Okay, let's test that because I forgot to test that as well. So let's dry them up really well. And then I'm going to try to see if I can reactivate it. So yes, I've done this technique many times on my in different classes and in my on my channel. Oops. It's just a masking technique. So yeah, it works really well because the masking kind of brings everything out to the surface. Yeah, I'm just drying. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to finish drying and let's see what happens when so I have a feeling, let me see if I have a feeling they're not permanent and that they will reactivate again, but let's see. And if that is the case, then you can use sealant, some kind of sealant or spray. So let's see. Okay, ready? Yeah, I have a feel. Yeah, they're reactivating like I thought. Let me see if this one does too. Yeah, they reactivate with water. So that makes sense to me because most pigments do. Even so, yeah. Okay, let me dry it again, and that's okay because it's similar to like the Lindy's Magicals, even watercolors. You do need to seal them with some kind of spray. From what I hear, hairspray works well as well. So yeah, you can do that. Okay, so now that I kind of covered most of it, I can go back with the black marker and redraw my lines because, and even if I made, you remember how before I made a mistake and some lines were really thick, I was able to cover them here. So I'm not going to redraw them thickly. I'm just going to use them the way it is. So even if you made a mistake and you cover them, not to worry, okay? It still works. And I love acrylic markers. I've been obsessed with them. Michael's recently had a very good sale on these Posca markers. It was crazy sale, at least in Canada it was. I don't know if you guys had this in the US. It was the same. It was like buy 3, get 2 free. So you got like 5 markers for the price of 3 markers, which was, these are not cheap markers. So it was great. All right, so sorry, I'm just quickly drawing this. And now they're really sticking out, as you can see, right? So it's makes a difference. the key point that I want to make is that, first of all, don't wait this long to use supplies the way I did. Okay, like we should really, if we get excited about supplies, we should get them out right away. We shouldn't wait this long. And I wish I didn't because I really like these. And I remember now why I fell in love with them, but I kind of waited so long to use them that it kind of became pointless. Like, not pointless, maybe like not pointless, but it's kind of like, why did I wait so long? I had these supplies that are great and I'm just not using them, you know? It's kind of not the greatest, not the smartest thing to do, okay? I'm going to use some of the white. I want to just create, you can also use this to create like markings. So I'm going to make like a border. I love making borders. So yeah, so one is one of the things. And if even if you have bought supplies and you haven't gotten them out, get them out. Even if you haven't used them in a while, you know what? Just kind of, you know, it's like treasure hunting in your studio, in your art room. Just, you know, just get them out and find those unused supplies because you bought them for a reason. You know what I mean? Like you actually bought them for a reason. So remember kind of why you bought them. That's the key. It's remembering why you bought them. Oh, I like this. I'm gonna see if I can, what happens when I mix the white here. Let's see. Ooh, I like that. Okay, so I actually bought myself black and white as well in these colors. Actually, won't know why I bought them, but I mean, I probably had a reason in mind. The funny thing about this, when I bought this for my birthday, because I drove an hour, I took my mom and I said, let's go and kind of go for a little drive. I want to buy myself these things for my birthday. And the funny thing is that I was going to do a whole video about it. I filmed myself going into the store, coming out of the store, kind of, you know, like a video, like a YouTube video. And then I never did anything with them. Don't know why. Explain it to me, but don't know why. Okay, what else do I want to do? Oh, yes, I'll take, this is another Posca marker. It's a white one. And I'm going to, I don't know, you can also journal. That's another thing you can do with the Posca markers or with any markers. And let's see, enjoy the process, right? That's one of the things that is really important. Hold on, to get the, why is this not coming out? Sorry, I'm just me pressing on to making sure that, you know, when you're trying to like get something out and your white marker doesn't work. Nope, okay, that's not gonna work. I wonder if my this one will work. Let's see. No, my markers work today. Explain that to me. Okay, so I guess we're gonna work with black. Black works as well too. So journal around, I love journaling around the trees, like writing whatever comes to thought. Oh, Elaine, you're so smart. Yes, I forgot the splatters. Yes, that's true. But I wonder, you know what? I will try to do the splatters with this. I'm not sure if it will work. Let's try. But so Andrew, so I'm going to actually write about remember to get your unused supplies. Unused supplies. I'm literally making a little note for myself out of the from the shelf. Okay, so I'm gonna use them because they make you happy. Okay, so I can just go around and basically write all around. I won't do that now because that will take time for me to do, but just like journaling all around my designs. And then you're right, I'm going to add splatters. So let's test to see if I can make my own splatter little thing with the white, because I want to add white splatters. So I'm going to try to make my own paint with this. Let's see if it works. Okay. So I'm going to make, oh, it turned out really bluish. but let's see if it works. It might not work. No, it might not work with that. Oh, but I wonder if like just water splatters would work because it's reactivating and it will create an effect that way. Yeah, why not? So you could add white splatters. You can actually like reactivate it with splatters. Oh, that's good. Yeah, I like that saying. Be brave enough to be bad at something new. That's a good one. Yes, I like that. Okay, let me grab some paper towel. Let's see what happens when I actually just soak up that water. Yeah, I gave a good texture, but I don't love it. Okay, so I will take out my favorite, which is the Bombay ink. It's the white ink. And let's add some splatters because that will like kind of bring everything together. Yes, okay. So I'm adding some splatters. Like I think you can't see the white, right? But it is right here. I want to add some water to it. And then I just, yeah, that's better. This kind of connects everything. I think that's what splatters do is that they add texture, but they always connect to things. Yeah, I like that. They kind of look like little stars, especially here. Yeah, I like that. Thanks for reminding me. I love that, Elaine. Thanks for reminding. She knows me well. She knows that I will add borders and I will add like splatters, like it's my thing. Oops. I think her and Graciela were like members from a long time of mine. Okay, there we go. So, oh, I like this a lot. So another thing you can do, oh, and as you notice, I covered a lot of the collage paper that I showed you before for my, like, you know, the one I sell on Etsy, which is fine. But you can still see parts of it in the actual area where I didn't cover, right? So just to finish it up, I'm going to add a little sentiment because I love adding sentiment. So besides having the collage papers, I also have like printables. Okay, so there's these printables that you can download and you can create and you can add to your background. So you can download them into, like, you can print them into any size. So I need to just add like some kind of thing. Hold on. The world needs you. Oh, I like that. Okay. Don't know why, but it's a message that I recently thought about for myself. And I'm going to glue this to the background. Now, because this is inside my my art journal, I'm not going to stress too much about whether it's sealed or not sealed, okay? Because I'm not like selling this art. But if you are worried, concerned about it, especially if you're making things like cards, I would highly recommend using even some kind of hairspray or even going to like an art store and basically spraying your background so that way it doesn't interact with anything. Okay, so let me just put a little bit of glue. Actually I'm going to use my finger for this. So I'm just using the gel medium, which is like the glue, and just want to glue this here. The world needs you. So there we go. So this is how kind of like, it's a very simple way of creating. And as I said, you could definitely use many different mediums for this. You could use anything that kind of creates a background. Sorry, anything that can cover a background would work. So it just needs to be more opaque than everything else that you use. So as I said, it's not so much about like the realizing that or using the same things that I'm using. What's important about this technique is the process and how you like, you know, use the techniques or how you use the products or and how you can substitute and kind of experiment with them. And that's what I love about this. So yes, Judith, you can just rewatch this anytime. I have lots of videos, tons and tons and tons. But if you want, as I said, so if you want to join my mixed media class, this is where, sorry, not this. this one. This is where I'm going to go step by step through everything, and you'll be able to watch and rewatch it as many times as you want, and actually be able to, you know, create those techniques for yourself so you can use them in any type of project. And this is what I love about it. So, if you are interested in signing up to them, you can. I'm going to switch back so I can see you. The class, as I said, is being held this upcoming Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern, March 23rd. And yeah, sorry, I'm just reading what Graciela said. So I hope to see you there. I know most of you are already signed up. So if you haven't signed up, go ahead. There's the link that Elaine just pressed, and that Elaine just shared, I meant to say. And just like, don't stress about it. Just kind of come with an open mind. Even if you don't have all the supplies, that's okay. I'm going to give a lot of explanations, and also I'm going to give a lot of things that you can substitute if you don't have something. So the most important thing is to just come and enjoy. So even if you're not doing each technique, even if you're only interested in 7 of the 10 techniques, even though there's probably going to be more, even if you're just interested with 7 of them, you're still learning 7 techniques. So you could skip one if you don't really like it, or if it doesn't bring you joy, then just go ahead and skip it and just watch what I'm doing. So yeah, so thank you so much for joining me today. I really hope that that you enjoyed this little technique, even though it wasn't a material that you had. And yes, you will be able to rewatch not only this one over and over, because this is like on my YouTube channel, but the class, the mixed media class, you'll be able to rewatch it over and over again. It's going to be sitting there as long as you log in to the account. You'll have it to your watch as long as you know, lifetime is relative. But I'm hoping to live a long life, so we're going with that. So so enjoy the creative process and enjoy all the techniques that you learned today, last week, and I'll see you on Saturday for those of you who are joining. Thanks so much, everyone. Bye.